Hi, welcome back to another All Valley Karate video post. This is technically our first video post, even though we have posted a video, but it's kind of like a launch channel video and like giving you a description of what we're going to be talking about here.
Yeah, our first video, we wanted to show you what we're going to be covering. In this video, we're going to be covering it. So, I think you wanted to start originally with talking about Ali.
Well, because you had like such a good point about this character, and she seems to be a big talk in the post Cobra Kai season 2 world. This is when these videos are being posted and recorded right now. We're right after season 2 has been released, just a couple days after season 2 release, and we've watched them all through.
And so the first thing you wanted to cover was Ali, and I figured, yeah, I think we should start there, even though that's where season 2 has ended. I think we should go back and start there because would we have these characters interacting at all if it wasn't for Ali?
Yeah,
right?
It was a beautiful point she made where this is like this pivotal character in the whole story that, you know, makes all these people meet. This is all like post that you've seen it all. You want more. You want to find friends, connect with people, make comments and things, talk about stuff, hypothetical, and of course, you know, theorize on what the possibilities for season 3 are.
So in this world where Tori's original cast name was Tori Schwarber, then what?
I have not found anything about that. Like, there's none of the ending credits, just so you guys know, I've checked. None of the ending credits say it. IMDb doesn't say it. It just says the single word Tori, which is most of the other students, except for the lead characters, such as Miguel. And, of course, you know, we got LaRusso's. And
right.
But
as Hawk would say, you did a deep dive on the internet.
Yeah. So I couldn't find it. Maybe you know the source of it, of where it came out, if somebody made a mistake or something like that. And it could have been a mistake. However, why are they careful to show us the last name of her and things? That could be the thing. Now, also, we see on her phone when they were looking at it in the bar that she is not just any surgeon, but she's a pediatric surgeon. She's a pediatric specialist. You see here, and it's just a picture of the dogs, like I said.
Person that might
now
need
we have
surgery
the
at the
story
end of
now.
season 2.
Yeah, now we have a story that has a need for a pediatric surgeon. They might have to fly in a specialist. I understand she's from Colorado now or something, but like now we have to fly in a specialist maybe or something. Yeah. That could be a possibility. And you see here the picture of the dogs, but also look at the background though. She's like on like it could be a lake house, but it could be a dojo. Like, you see this generic picture back here? It's but I mean, it could be a lake house, but it could be a dojo. She could have some type of interest. Now, here's the relation with Tori that people are talking about. If Tori's last name is Schwarber and her last name is Schwarber, was this her mom? Blah, blah, blah. Some people are saying she's going through med school, and that's when she was struggling, because we know that Tori gave us this story about her mom struggling and that they have to fight for the things that they need and things. And I think she was basing it on many restaurants that we know, Panera Bread, where they just throw away their food rather than giving it to needy people and homeless people and all this. I would watch it. I used to have friends that work there, just throw away bags of food, but I think they do something with it now. They have a carrier or something that picks it up. But so that was an example though of this stuff where the world isn't fair with a lot of things that we know, and it doesn't have a fit for you sometimes, and you have to fight for it. Some things are handed to people, and some people have to earn them. And that was her point with it. This could be her mom if she was struggling through med school. However, here's our point.
Another way to look at it is, what if this guy, this husband that we see on the Facebook swiping between Daniel and Johnny, what if this guy is a major douche, as they claim that he probably is?
That stupid face.
Yeah, just out of, jealousy or whatever. But what if he is, because, speculation here, of course, but if he has hooked up with Tori's mom somewhere along the way, 16, 17 years ago.
Not Elizabeth Shue.
Not Elizabeth Shue.
Not Ali. Yeah.
Right. And then so he hooks up with her, ditches her for possibly an up-and-coming surgeon.
Yep, they might have. We know that they met at med school. I think that's talked about in the. I think that's talked about in.
The bar?
Yeah, the bar scene. I think Daniel says something like that, like they met at med school or something. But if you look at her phone, the brief shot that they give us, she went to med school in San Diego. She didn't go to med school in Colorado. Mm-hmm. So she met this guy in California.
Yeah.
And then they moved together. Mm-hmm. Now, she could have been, like you said, a fun, blonde, adventurous.
Up and coming, whatever, and I'm going to leave this waitress chick that I have nothing in common with.
We had a kid together when we were young or in high school or something, and now he's going to ditch her off, get with Allie, head out to Denver. And so the woman, now the mother of
Tori's
Tory,
mother,
does what many mothers do in this situation. I have family like this. I have friends like this. They keep the name of the birth, make it easy. The girl's already in school or something. They don't want to change the name, make things confusing for the child.
Right.
So they keep the same name, and she raises her with this name Schwarber. This is very likely, very possible, I think, if they want to try to connect these worlds in the small world that we have now.
Would they ever bring the Tori character back into season 3? Because if she did start this gigantic school brawl, and everyone in the entire school knows she started it, and there was, a tear on Sam's tricep from this girl. I mean, there's going to be some serious legal allegations. I understand that absolutely nothing has been brought up in that realm because it's all fictitious. But in today's society, I think people would be a little bit...
Robbie took off. Both Robbie
and Tori,
and many of the other students that attacked faculty members and things that we saw, like that's criminal charges.
Which that doesn't make for a good story. So I'm cool if they skip it. I don't really need that.
Well, they might put over a blanket thing too that happens sometimes at some concerts that we see and stuff where there's a riot,
mayhem ensues.
General mayhem, and so there's some people that are group arrested, and there's some people that are just it's pushed aside.
I think the way that they might review all of that super quick and not make it lengthy in season 3 is they could just do show newspaper clippings of the past 6 months of what's happened or whatever.
Chaos of the school and everything, and
what if Johnny's reading it? These children were
just defending themselves.
What if Johnny's reading it and because he obviously has interest in it, and so he's like Tori Schwarber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And maybe there's a last name shows up then.
Yeah.
So far, we haven't actually heard her last name, and I'm sure that if that was a true leak, they took it out immediately because they're like, "Whoa, this is going to give it away. We're giving it away right away."
You'd have to get way
all the
into
fans
it.
will figure it out right away.
They crammed so much relational information into season 2 that I don't think, even if they didn't want to spoil it, aside from that, I don't think they could have had time. With these 30-minute episodes in such a short time frame, they could not have touched on that.
And that's what some people talk about too, is how and the writers themselves, I saw in interviews post as to how do we include the sub characters, the new characters still, and then have the rich characters that we know already, and they said they really had to juggle all of those things and balance them, unintended. But,
right. No, well, that's one of the things that I liked is we could clearly show where it was how we were talking about almost like Degrassi, where it's oh, this is clearly a Hawk episode. Oh, this is clearly the two girls, episode Sam and Tori. You know what I mean?
And not every series does that.
But I liked it.
So you get to know each character better and
because you were able to go so in depth with Miguels' character and his relationship with Johnny that there were just a few episodes where they just briefly touched on it, and I told you where Miguel has this face for the 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, the whole season pretty much.
Sensei, are you sure about that? Sure. Are you sure about that, Sensei? Are you sure?
He does this a lot.
Are you sure about that, Sensei?
But so
but he totally came through. He's a fantastic actor. Don't get me wrong. That's just what was written for him.
Yeah, that's a lot of chat on the internet is and watching season 1 through again, which my son and I have done past couple days. While we've been doing other things, we're really busy people, as you noticed in the other videos we mentioned. We have other businesses we run, and we have a family, volunteer work. So we do these things late at night, after the kids are in bed, and this is what we can push out.
Yep.
Because we're going to do it anyway. We sit in bed and talk about it or whatever.
Yeah, we might as well turn the camera on.
We sit on the phone with our cousins and talk about it and friends, and so we're like, okay, let's just make a YouTube channel and see what the world thinks.
Right.
But yeah, so we're going to hit on that in a future video of these smiling faces and Miguel characters that we really have lost this season. So And so, there's a lot of talk about that. So that's another video, though. So
Right.
we're going to talk about that. So now let's go to the last shot.
We've covered the Tory.
Yeah, well, this is the last shot that we see of season 2 for the most part.
The big final.
Right here, right? Okay, so this is
Let's to recap.
Yeah.
Johnny accidentally, he was in the bar. He was disgruntled from his Tinder swiping left, swiping right dating
and
experience.
all these updates, these damn updates. We all get them, and I love seeing his frustration. Another update. I just bought this thing.
But so he
I swear
he goes on Facebook and he writes a message to Ali, and he gets bumped in the bar, and he accidentally pushes send and gets distracted with a girl that he's talking to and doesn't realize that he sent an email to Ali saying like, hey, we should, meet up sometime soon, whatever. And
unlike Daniel, who doesn't get a friend request from Ali.
He doesn't strike first.
And Johnny does get a friend request from Ali. So, and now he doesn't know it. He threw it. I don't know if we're going to have him find it or see it, or maybe Robbie's on the same beach, because we know Robbie likes to hang out at the beach when he's homeless. He hangs out, and where have we seen him? At overpasses, near bridges and things like that, in the city. We see him at the beach. We know that he hides things at the beach. We know that cell phones can get picked up and stolen and hidden in those little cubby wood things at the beach. Will he stumble upon this or something and find out that it's
so how in season 3 are we going to have Johnny find this information from Ali?
Now Ali might be called in to work with the healing, but we've got another video on the healing. It's going to involve, I'm not going to talk about it. That's another video. You're going to subscribe to find out more. And I think that's where we're at with Ali, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we've
her
covered
relation to Tory, that is
You know what I wanted to bring up? One last thing, though, is that I really like how the writers did. I'm sure that there was a talk about, like, do we have Ali? It says, like, a new message from Ali or a friend request from Ali.
Yeah.
Like, there's, there could have been two. She could have just,
for real. That's
she could have just straight replied, and
interact.
obviously we wouldn't have been able to see what she said. It would have just been, like, new message from Ali, and everybody would have went, But a new friend request from Ali is like,
some involvement.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a thing there.
We've got multiple times, now that I've watched season 1 through again too, there's multiple occasions where there's this rockiness to Daniel's relationship with his wife due to karate influences and things, right? And now if Allie's going to be in the picture, especially if this guy actually is kind of a jerk, or we see that he is, or she's not really happy in her relationship.
Allie's husband.
Yeah, Mr. Schwarber. So if we find out that this guy is a jerk and she is starting to have feelings to not want to be around him or something like that too, it could cause a lot of drama and a whole nother love triangle thing to happen again, and stirred emotions and things. And we know Daniel says, he does, at the bar scene, he says, I have a friend requested, I'm happy married man. However, at this point right now, especially, he is really trying to patch things up at home. Like
he's still sleeping on the couch was the last
he was
week.
in the doghouse, yeah.
So I don't think anything's actually going to happen. That's going to be my thing. But, Amanda might get a little huffy.
Yeah, it's just something to add more drama.
Picture.
But that's our wrap up of Tori's relationship to the Schwarber family, if there is one.
Right.
I think that it would be with the father who takes off, leaves the mother. This would make this guy hated even more by multiple cases. I think they will have Tori back in season 3 to answer to your thing, because I think she did such a good job. I think she showed up, the actress herself. I think she showed up, Peyton. She did such a good job.
She was a great actress. I just don't know if there's room for her.
I loved the character. She's so badass, and she showed up at every point of it. The actress herself, Peyton, too, we talked about, I watched interviews. She got into karate just right as she was getting into the role of it.
I'm much more Team Sam.
Right. But Sam's always like, oh, hi, guys.
I mean, she's a little too goody two-shoes, but, I'd much rather have that than,
No,
yikes.
And the Tori and Sam battle was some awesome cinematography and editing and everything. Everybody showed up there. So the Tori character, I hope, is here to stay, and we'll see what kind of relationships she will have in season 3. Subscribe for more. Thanks for being with the All Valley Karate, a YouTube channel, and we hope to see you here again. You're the best around. See you again soon.